Hi buddy, welcome back to Cat's Book Nook. It is the end of July, so I'm going to go ahead and do a what I read this month video, along with talking about what I read for Booktubeathon, what I didn't read for Booktubeathon, and what I'm looking forward to going back to now that Booktubeathon is over here in about 6 hours. Yeah, 6 hours. So, this month I ended up reading 10 books, 2 for Booktubeathon, 3 graphic novels, a couple books on my to be read list, and 1 book that I hadn't even thought about picking up. It came through a Bookshout email, and Amazon had it for fairly cheap, so I went ahead and got it. So, without further ado, let me tell you what I read this month. The first book, I'm going to show you guys the pictures on the phone because most of these boxes have my books in it, and most books have been packed. Other books I've returned to the library, especially if they were library books that I couldn't renew anymore. So, first book on this list was The Book of Speculation by Erica Swyler. Trying to show you guys on my phone. So past meets present, mermaids, circus mermaids, tarot cards, a librarian that gets thrown in the mix, and a specific date for this family where tragedy strikes. It was an interesting read after the first 100 pages. Like, the first 100 pages I had the worst time getting into because I'm not really familiar with books that go back and forth between past and present. It was an interesting concept. I wrote my first novel that way, but it wasn't something that I'd ever read before, so it was a good story. I liked the story after the first 100 pages, but getting to that part of the story, you had to read the first 100 pages. Unless you read it and have an ebook and can skip forward to the interesting parts. Betrayal, love interests, not so much spellbinding, but how a person can captivate certain people and how it runs in an entire family line up until the present day librarian and his sister and all that fun stuff. So that was one of the books that I got through this month. Next book that I read was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, book 4 in the Harry Potter series. This one took me a while to get through. It wasn't the best book to me. It did introduce you to some other characters that come up later in the series, which I thought was pretty cool because you're seeing them. I saw them in book 6. They definitely come into the story in book 7. And yeah, so that was the second book that I got through. Graphic novels that I got through. It's not the best picture, but Saga Volume 5, Volume 6, and Volume 7. So Volume 7 definitely left me with I should probably go to the comic book store and go get the singles that came out, just because Volume 7 leaves you on a black page that says to be continued. I'm sorry. That has to be one of the biggest pet peeves of mine. I get that it's a great way to do a cliffhanger. I get it. I understand it. But Volume 18 doesn't come out for another year. Please. Story. Come on. So, once I get done with the whole Uber shtick in the next week and we move, I'll probably end up going to the comic book store just to pick up the singles that go into Volume 18. Or Volume 8, sorry. Volume 18. I don't know where that came from. But just to pick up those singles because I want to see how the story ends. I want to see what happens to Hazel and her family. And yeah, that really upset me. But not my story. That's the way they wanted to do it. So makes me want to finish reading it though, which was probably the whole point. So the book that I wasn't really expecting to read, and I'm glad that I found it through the ebook, the Bookshout email, was Compromising Positions by Jenna Bailey Burke. This is a complete Harlequin romance novel to me. Harlequin romance novels to me, I guess, would be everybody's adult contemporary novels, because it's a fast read, has sex, has a relationship that everybody ends up shipped into somewhere somehow. And it was a very fast read. I read it, I want to say it took me like a day and some change, just because it was that fast. And I did it via ebook because it was $3. Gotta love when books are inexpensive, especially ebooks. And I'm starting to get back on this ebook kick because I've been reading Harry Potter that way too. So I'll read it at work and on the way home at work on the ebook in ebook form, because I can put it on my computer and go from there. And on the way home, I'll pick up, the paperback or the hardback that I have, which I need to get back to. But I'll read it that way, so that way I can get through it faster. And Compromising Positions had me in one of those, I have work to do, but I also don't really want to do it because this story is that intriguing. And I know what happens at the end. I know that they end up together, but it's getting to how they end up together that made it worth the read. So since I just showed you guys Volume 7, I also got through Harry Potter Order of the Phoenix and Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince this month. Again, not my two favorite books. Order of the Phoenix, I cried. I can't do that scene without crying. And I really honestly wish she wouldn't have done what she did in the end of that book. Again, not my book, not my story to tell. So J.K. Rowling is extremely great in her craft. Yeah, that book made me cry. Half-Blood Prince definitely sets up the next sets up everything for book 7, which I've started but have not finished this month because Booktubeathon happened. So since Booktubeathon did happen, and we're still 6 hours away from the end of it, we'll see if I finish something or not. I haven't finished book 7 for Harry Potter book 7, so that's something that I'm picking up, maybe starting tomorrow at work, maybe not. Kind of on the fence on that one because I'm not sure how the 3 books that I did not finish for Booktubeathon will actually go. So speaking of Booktubeathon, the challenges, I'll link my to be read list video in the description box below so you guys can see what I planned on reading. What I did end up getting through was the challenge where you read a book in a day and read a book because you like the cover. For the read a book in a day, I did The Timekeeper by Mitch Albom. Love this book. Cannot talk enough about this book. Actually, I think I got a friend to read this book because she'd seen me talk about it on one of my videos about it being a book that I really, really like. This was on my summer to be read list. It is now checked off. Yay! Like checking things off my list. And then Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I did not want to like this book up front. It did not go the route that I thought it would go. And the story was fantastic. It almost had me up all night Monday. And had it not been for the fact that I had to work and that I was driving around DC Tuesday night, I probably would have finished it in 2 days. Just because the writing was phenomenal. I liked the story. I liked the way she ended it. I almost would like a follow-up novel just specifically about the 2 main characters, the dragon and Niska. I think that's how you say it. Just because they seem like they would have very interesting adventures, and I could see other hijinks ensuing based off the events in this book. Please don't write another book if you are not planning to. This was awesome. You wrapped it up really well. Yeah, this is going to be another one of those books that I would like to go back and reread at some point later on, maybe next year or the year after that, just because it was a good story. And I may actually go get my own copy of this so I can pick it back up. So, along those lines of Booktubeathon, the books that I did not finish for the challenge were read a book with a person on the cover, which was, I picked Burnt Mountains by Anne Rivers Siddons. I'd originally picked Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince for that challenge, but that was before I got through with book 5 and started book 6. So for the challenge to read a book from a that's different from you in every way, I picked up The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Corey, or picked that book for this challenge because I'd actually picked it up last month in my library haul. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this book. I'm only like 10 pages into it. The writing style is okay. I'm not necessarily sure if I'm going to continue that book after this week or not, just because it's young adult, not necessarily something that I thought it was going to be a little bit, I don't know what I thought it was going to be. It's very slow paced getting into it, so slow paced books with the book of speculation, I'll give you the first 100 pages. I can't read it after that or have no interest in it, DNF, sorry. The other book that I'm probably not going to finish for this challenge was Reaper by L.S. Murphy. Ebook format, 16-year-old kid that is already irking my nerves. So, probably will not finish this book already off the bat. I don't like, and I'm probably sounding whiny to you guys, whiny people in books, especially when you are a rich person in a book, affluent is the better word for that. If you are a affluent person in a book and you are whiny, you do not have issues to whine about, please shut up. Just putting it out there. But those are the 3 books that I haven't finished for the Booktubeathon. I don't know if I will, just because I'm going to try to participate in Tomes on Thoughts Tome Topple Challenge that runs for 2 weeks. I'll leave the link to Sam's video in the description box below so you guys can go check it out for yourself. Basically, as you read books that are 500 pages or more for this challenge, and they do have challenge categories, which will also be in her video description box, so you guys can go check it out. If you're trying to get through large books, this is a great way to do it. This is the first time I've done it, but it seems very interesting, and I will record my to-be read list for those as soon as I go to the library and get those books, because my copies of the books that I would read are packed. So with that, I hope you guys have had a wonderful weekend. The weather today has been fantastic. We went to the farmer's market, which is that very large bag of corn behind me. Baltimore has this really nice farmer's market where you go, they have food, we got dangerous, delicious pies, we got a couple of those, we're going to eat one of those for dinner between both Ray and myself, because they're little pies, but we don't eat very much anymore. So I got that, fresh blueberries, they've got dog treats. You could basically make your grocery list and on Sunday go to the farmer's market, which I think was the point of this whole thing. Go to the farmer's market, they had an assortment of meats, dairy products, fresh fruits and vegetables, obviously, food that you can snack on throughout the, while you're walking around, and of course, alcohol. Charm City Mead Works makes mead that I'd never had before. I picked some up, so we'll see how that goes this week. Just because I should not be doing alcohol, and I'm probably going to end up with one of those tonight. It's not necessarily a personal choice with the whole alcohol thing. It's I had surgery and not supposed to be drinking as much alcohol as I was before, because instead of a food addiction, now it is possibly a alcohol addiction, which runs in my family, which again is things that you guys don't need to know about. So I'm rambling right now, but great weather today, and Game of Thrones here in a few hours, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the producers of that show have come up with while I am not reading the books that I should be reading for Booktubeathon. If you guys got through Booktubeathon, congratulations. It's the first time I did it. I'm not being sarcastic with the congratulations. You guys are awesome. Well done. And I'm looking forward to more challenges like that. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and I will talk to you guys later.